Good evening. It's me again, Pak Ling, from the Rakuten Trade Research Team. Welcome to this event. If you like our webinars, please hit the like button and invite more friends and family to join our Raku Ranger community and Research Hive Telegram group for more insights and update from the stock market. And we are also in an investing note. From Rakuten Trade Research, we also have Queenie. Hi, Queenie.
Hi.
Hi. And we are glad to have Sunway Construction with us this evening. Please welcome Billion, the CFO of Sunway Construction.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Billion. Elaine, the IR of Sunway Construction.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
And Crystal, the head of investor relations of Sunway Berhad.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, please type into the comment section, and we will address them to Billion and her team. We will take the questions live and will not be answering in the comment section. And without further ado, over to you, Elaine.
Okay, first and foremost, thank you, Pak Ling and Rakuten, for having us, and thank you everyone that joined us this evening. I will just briefly run through our corporate presentation just to let you know a bit more about Sunway Construction and what are we up to at the moment. So Sankong was first incorporated in 1976, where subsequently we commenced business in 1981. Our first listing is actually in year 1997, where we subsequently got ourselves delisted in year 2004 because we believe that the valuation can be better. Our relisting under the construction sector in Bursa, Malaysia was on the 28th of July 2015, so we are about 6 years now. Cumulative revenue since inception is about 40 billion. Market cap has been hovering around 2 to 2.2 billion. As of June 2021, we have got about 1.9% of foreign shareholdings, 47.8% of non-Bumi, and also the balance, of course, Bumi Putra. Our top external shareholders is EPF, which holds about 9%, Amanah Saham at 6.6%, Great Eastern at 4%, of course, ANA and PNB. So basically, Sunway Construction is actually 54.6% owned by Sunway Berhad. Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia, our founder itself, holds additional 10.7%, and our balance is other shareholders. We are divided into 6 business segments. We do building construction services, we do civil infrastructure services, we do have our own foundation and geotechnical engineering services, mechanical, electrical and plumbing services, sustainable energy services, as well as manufacturing and steel or precast concrete products. I will go into more detail on some of our business segments in the next slide. So basically, when it comes to building construction services, we specialize in special purpose buildings such as medical centers, convention centers, or offices, corporate offices where requires higher technical needs. So we are also specialized in building information modeling system where we call BIM. In the past, we have also been to international. Some of the countries that we have been to are Singapore, UAE, and TNT. And some of the prominent projects that we have completed in the past is actually the KLCC Convention Center, Pinewood Studio in Iskandar. Of course, basically everything around Bandar Sunway, the medical centers, the universities, the shopping malls, the international schools, and a lot of the Putrajaya government agency offices. In terms of civil infrastructure services, we do roads, highways, airports, bridges, basically everything under the umbrella. We are also the only contractor in Malaysia that has completed the 3 Ts, namely the BRT, MRT, and also LRT, which we are currently doing in the LRT3. So some of the prominent local projects include the Ipoh Airport, the Silk Highway, SKVE, and of course the 3 Ts that I've mentioned earlier. In the past, we have also been overseas. We have been to India where we completed 7 highway projects and bridges in India. And actually, we are back in India in year 2020 where we just secured 2 new hybrid annuity model projects, which we call it HAM project. Okay, coming back to foundation and geotechnical engineering services, we do have a division on its own, which basically caters the need of our building and civil infrastructure services. As same goes to the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing services. Even though we do tender externally on a standalone basis, but more of our services is actually to complement both the building and civil. So we pride ourselves as an end-to-end service provider. Basically, we covers from the beginning to the end of the product. So the other two business components is actually a sustainable energy services is actually the newest in our business model. We have actually ventured into solar. We started off with rooftop solar projects in most of the Sunway properties, and we also tendered. We also supported a few bids in the large scale solar 3 and 4 projects. In the past, we were the EPCC contractor for gas district cooling systems in Putrajaya, the biomass system in Johor, and also we have also recently signed an MOU with NG Services Malaysia to actually work together in the district cooling system field. So comes back to LSS 4 project. Actually, Sankong supported 4 bids. We supported our clients in 4 bids, and we managed to get 2. And our client managed 2 of them actually managed to sign the PPA with TNB. So in terms of our manufacturing and steel and precast concrete products, we have 2 precast plants based in Johor. One is in Iskandar, the other one in Senai. Basically, our precast business predominantly supply to the Singapore market in terms of the HDB housing, more of the HDB housing. Okay, this is our proven track record. We started off our IPO at 1 ringgit and 20 cents in 2015. Our highest is in 2017 at 2 ringgit, where we closed the year at 2 ringgit 51 cents. And of course, political uncertainty kicks in 2018. We recovered in 2019, and then 2020 back to the pandemic. And at the current moment, we are at about 1 ringgit and 60 cents. So hence our market cap is about 2 to 2.2 billion. Okay, of course, if you see from the profit PBT and PATMI table, definitely the pandemic years has actually have impact on us. It has dropped in year 2019 and 2020. In terms of financial performance, if you can see, our quarter 2 2021 results is actually we have reported a revenue of 375.3 million, where PBT is at about 9.5 million. The blended margin for both our construction and precast is about 2.5%, and the PATMI is about 8.3%. So basically, this quarter is actually impacted by the MCO towards the end of the quarter. Management commitment in terms of dividend payout is actually to at 35% of our full year PATMI, but we have been paying more than that ever since our listing from year 2015 to current. It has always been about 40 to 70%. And we have just announced our first tranche of bonus for 2021 at 1.25 cents, which is more than 56% of our half-year PATMI. Okay, these are some of the financial indicators that we track. QLASIC, conquest, and customer satisfaction is basically on our quality. Of course, we do report our work man hours and also some of the fatal accidents, and also the ratio of men versus employees, women versus men. Okay. So these are some of the investment highlights. Basically, if I touched earlier, we pride ourselves as a fully integrated construction company. We have got solid order book of diversified projects across all the construction subsectors. We have got proven track record, local and international. We have got very strong brand heritage, of course, continuing support from Sunway Group, and as well as highly experienced senior management staff. Okay, some of the investment highlights on us being a fully integrated construction company. The top part, where on the range of services and products I have covered previously, maybe I'll just touch on the part where we actually invested quite a fair bit in our IT systems, namely the building information modeling. We are actually one of the contractors that started the journey way earlier than the rest. I think we have started BIM, or we call it virtual design and construction, VDC, about 10 years ago. So basically, BIM is actually to improve the visualization so that we can visualize a building before it's being constructed before it's being constructed, so that we are able to detect any clash analysis. We also hold a large asset base, which allows us to maximize the economies of scale. Basically, these assets that we hold can actually cater to about 40% of what we need. The balance of 60% is actually rented externally. Okay, and of course, we are constantly working towards cost savings and also to improve operational efficiencies in order to enhance our profitability. Okay, these are, so we have currently have 65 projects in hand. Our total outstanding order book stands at 4.8 billion. If you can see, 51% comes from internal Sunway related projects. In India, we have got 2 projects, 17%. Infrastructure and piling at 9%, buildings at 14%, precast is at 8%, and the balance is on the renewable energy sector, which is relatively small still at the current moment. Okay, so this is in detail our project list. Okay, we have secured actually 620 million projects worth of projects in year 2021. Our internal target is actually around 2 billion, which is still intact at the moment. Okay. So if you can see from the breakdown, Malaysia in-house is about 67%, external is about 3%. Singapore is mainly on the precast, as I've mentioned earlier. Our 2 precast plants predominantly actually cater to the Singapore market, which takes up about 30% of the new order book secured. Okay, so these are some of the prominent projects that we have successfully executed. This is some of the awards that we managed to obtain in 2021. We have managed to obtain the Mechanical and Electrical Contractors Award from MBAM. Of course, 2 safety awards from MSOSH go in PNLC projects, which is our Petronas projects, and also another one in the TNB HQ campus, which is based in Bangsa. And then, of course, the MSWG ASEAN Corporate Governance Awards, and also the Annual Reports Award. Okay, this slide basically highlights our strategic relationship within Sunway Berhad. If you can see at the bottom right of the table, about 40% of our revenue comes from Sunway Group, and the balance of 60% is actually external. So a lot of people like to ask us what is our perfect revenue contribution in terms of Sunway Group versus external. We don't have an internal target because it all depends on the project that is available in the market. If the infrastructure projects, let's say during the MRT stage or even LRT stage, then definitely the project externally will contribute more as compared to the ones from Sunway Group in terms of revenue contribution. But nevertheless, we are very blessed to have a bedrock order from our parent company on all the Sunway Group's development. Okay. This is our highly experienced management staff. Okay, these slides basically I have covered previously. We talk about our integrated business model. We talk about solid order book. Probably I will just touch on the point number 3 on position for growth. We are the largest pure play listed construction company in Malaysia. We are the top 3 construction group by turnover and profit. Of course, overseas venture we have started again in India. And for financial year ending 2020, I think some of the projects has been named in the 12th Malaysian plan, even though some of them like MRT3 was not being mentioned, but we believe that going forward it will happen. It's just that a matter of time. So in terms of Singapore precast, we have another plant in Singapore that is currently under construction that should be operational by second half of 2022. So these are some of the project highlights. This is our Petronas new leadership center in Bangi. The contract value is about 310 million. Our client is of course Petronas. Completion is in year 3Q 2021, which is pretty soon now. Here's the TNB HQ campus in Bangsa. This is our newly secured project in August 2020, the Sunway Belfield, and also the CP2 mixed commercial development. Basically, this is in Bandar Sunway. Sunway Velocity 2, Plot B, Sunway Medical Center Extension. Over in Northern region, we have got Sunway Carnival Mall Extension as well as Sunway Medical Center Seberang Jaya. And the LRT package GS0708, we have completed substantially on the viaducts work. We are currently focusing on all the station works. So we are quite ahead of the other construction players as well in terms of LRT's progress. We have handed over the MRT V201 project. This is Sungai Buloh to Pasaran Dagang. Okay, this is the two hybrid annuity model project that I mentioned earlier in India that we have secured. So this is slightly different from our typical construction projects where we got paid based on the monthly progress billing. For these projects in India, actually we are paid 40% during construction and the balance of 60% of the construction cost is paid over 15 annuity years. But our client, which is the National Highway Authority of India and HAI, will actually pay us on interest on the 60% at the RBI rate plus 3%. And this is an annuity payment, so we are not subject to any traffic risk. This is not a toll concession. So this is slightly different kind of model. Okay, so basically, both the projects we have obtained a financial close in May 2021, and for the Main Shruti Chidambaram project, which we call it MC project, we have actually obtained a start date in 9 of August 2021. So construction work has commenced for MC project, and very soon for the TJ project. So these are some of the geotechnical and foundation works that we do. The MEP projects, the sustainable energy, some of the precast concrete products that we manufacture in our precast plants. Okay. This is the capacity of the two precast plants that I mentioned earlier, and we are building our third precast plant in Johor in Pulau Punggol Porat. The tentative commissioning date of the plant is at the second half of 2022. Okay, so in terms of precast, we still see plenty of opportunities in Singapore because at the moment, only the HDB housing is actually regulated by the government to actually use the precast components. The private projects they have not imposed on the private projects. So definitely the opportunities are plenty in terms of precast in Singapore. Okay. These are some of the potential key risks. Of course, steel bar prices has increased tremendously. This from 2020 to 2021, it has been a very steep jump. Cement prices, we don't see the increases, but of course, copper prices has also increased tremendously. So what happens is that copper will actually affect the cable prices, the MEP components will be affected. So in the past, what we do to mitigate our risk is that we do about lock in steel bar in advance at the lower prices when the price is favorable. So forward-looking steel bar, we always lock in about 6 months of our requirement. And of course, if we know that the price is going uptrend, then definitely we will price in the new projects, new tenders, I mean. Foreign currency fluctuation, US dollar will also affect us slightly because the importation of solar panels, inverters are all from China and is quoted in US dollar. So these are our two risks. Okay, that's all from my corporate presentation. We can often open the floor to Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Elaine, for the very insightful presentation. I think maybe we can take questions from the floor or
And from ourselves lah.
yeah. Okay, may I know, okay, what is the current working capacity at the moment as compared to during the MCO months?
Okay, the current working capacity for both our construction and our precast is actually back to 100%. We are at 100% capacity. In the past, I think starting from July, okay, the MRT and LRT projects, which is under the infrastructure projects, is allowed to operate throughout the MCO period. But there was one short period of time where Klang, where our LRT is actually under FMCO. Hence, the project has also affected a while. And then subsequently, I think in mid of August, the government announced that the construction sector is allowed to operate with, depending on the vaccination rates. That means it has to be fully vaccinated before any workers can go back to site. So gradually, operations actually pick up in mid of August until now at 100%.
Okay. May I know what is your vaccination rate of your workers?
We are close to 100%. We are close to 100%. It cannot hit 100% because some of the workers, due to medical reasons, they won't be able to get themselves vaccinated. So it won't be 100% mark, but it's very, very close to 100%. It's only very odd cases, one or two persons.
Okay. And then also, what is the capacity of your overseas project at the moment?
When it comes to capacity for overseas project, our modus operandi when it comes to overseas project is always to partner with a local partner, so that the supply chain and the expertise, the local expertise, is actually being covered by our foreign partners. So what we contribute in a project is actually, in an overseas project, is mainly on the technical side. I mean, of course, the first two projects, it has to be of this setup until we are comfortable with any particular country. Then we will venture it on our own. So if you're talking about capacity, actually we still do have a lot of capacity. It's just that the current two India project that we obtained it comes with financing. So we are looking at more projects in India, because we see the opportunities are plenty, especially in the metro infrastructure projects, the real infrastructure projects. They are MRT or LRT akin that they are rolling out in India at the moment. So we are looking to secure more of a pure construction projects that doesn't require financing, so that our balance sheet will not be so strained. So yeah. So to answer your question, typically there is no a cap to it. We can comfortably do about 3B of revenue each year.
So let's say the economy. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so also to add on, Queenie, if you're talking about capacity in relation to COVID, actually in India, they have already opened long ago. So there is actually no restriction in India whatsoever. It is more, what you call that, more relaxed than in Malaysia. And because of that, we are able to move quite rapidly in India. But the only thing that is stopping us right now is the monsoon season. So monsoon season is starting in India, yeah.
Okay. Do you foresee that you can get more, expand by getting more jobs from India? And then if yes, then would it be more on infra construction or other?
It will be more on infrastructure, Queenie, because they have got a huge budget. If you have been to India, you see that the mode of transportation, their train is fully packed. So they need more carriageway, they need more roads. Yeah, because a lot of people, they stay in the suburbs and they go and work in the cities. Some of them even travel as far as like 2 hours a day just to reach their workplace. It's just like people traveling from Seremban to KL. So they need that kind of infrastructure and capacity. Yeah. And thankfully, also Asian Development Bank is also funding some of their projects as well. And like some of the projects is also partially funded by private sector, like how the first two projects that we got in India in year 2020. Yeah. So that is how their model works. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, as just now Elaine mentioned that the company is currently running at 100% of capacity. Can I say the worst is over for the company?
we really hope so. There is no hiccup. So we are very actually. I'm very happy when I see my group WhatsApp. Every 2 weeks, our site people will do their COVID STK test. So I get very relieved when I see this. When I see the note that they say that we have tested and 200 old workers all are negative. So we have been getting that kind of content from our group WhatsApp chat. So I feel very relieved. Even us in office also we do fortnightly as well. So it seems to be all system go right now, and I hope it can stay that way. Yeah. But anything can happen. Pak Ling, you look at Singapore. Singapore vaccination rate is like 80%, but you still get uh, high figures because I think mainly those are mild symptoms one. Yeah, so we have to live with the virus somehow or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a good news to hear from you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, and then the recently announced 12 MP, do you think that has any impact to the company?
The 12 Malaysian plan, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the 12 Malaysian plan, this is their biggest development expenditure. I think the government announced about 400 billion compared to about 250 billion for the 11 Malaysian plan. This is the highest, but some of the projects that were listed are mainly existing projects. And interestingly, today in Invest Malaysia, that is co-organized by Maybank and Bursa, they also talk about this. They ask our Tupa honestly whether MRT3 will go on. So he did say that they are trying to ramp up how the entire MRT3 is being financed. So that is being discussed, and is high speed rail was also brought up. So he clarified and said that high speed rail, the agreement is already lapsed since last year, but they are thinking of doing some alternative, like maybe a Malaysia local high-speed rail from TRX to maybe Bandar Puteri in Johor. So things like this is in the works. We definitely know that construction is a very good multiplier to the economy. That is why they have allocated 400 billion. They recognize that because for the economy to grow for at the GDP that they want at 4 to 6%, construction has to it has to be pump prime by the government now, basically. Yeah.
And what is your view on the construction sector for next year in
Construction
general?
sector, yeah, for next year, actually, we thought without COVID, actually 2021 would be an extremely good year for Sankong. We should be able to hit 2.5 billion. Unfortunately, the extent of the COVID was just as bad as 2020. Yeah. So 2022, when we are still doing our business plan, but we see very positive indicators because for the mere fact that our outstanding order book is still very high at 4.8, so that is able to sustain us for 2 over to 3 years. And we are also and most of our projects is on a trajectory growth in 2022. That means that if you look at construction, we follow an S curve. Initially the project might not generate so much revenue, but as it goes on in the middle to 75%, it will have a lot of contribution to our company. So we see next year as very positive. Yeah.
I see. And how do you see the rising cost of material? How do you manage that?
Yeah, rising cost of material is not only hurting us, it's hurting everybody. Now you see that there's an energy crunch. There is a lot of people in the Europe side winter, they might not even have uh, energy to on the heater for the winter months. And I heard that there's some petrol station also there's restriction on people filling in their tanks. So definitely rising prices has affected us, but we have some mitigating controls lah. Basically, like projects, some of our projects in Singapore, our precast projects, we have a pass-through clause. That means we are able to fix the steel bar when we secure the project at a certain price. And if the price escalates to a higher price, we can get the differential back from our client. This is something the Singapore government is giving to the main con, and the main con is passing it to us as the supplier of the precast. And even for our India projects, our we have price escalation in terms of the basket of goods. That means India, they say there is a basket of goods that includes petroleum prices. If the prices go up, our price will also go up with the index. So we are somewhat cushioned by these by these terms lah. Yeah, not all, but somewhat cushioned lah.
Okay. May I know what is your targeted annual order book replenishment?
Yeah, our order
Our order book
go on, Elaine.
Our order book replenishment is about 2 B every year, 2 billion every year. So we are currently at 620 million as of quarter two. We still got a couple of projects coming in. We hopefully that we are able to actually hit the 2 billion mark. We even go beyond the 2 billion mark.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, okay. On your external projects, what is the hit rate like for both overseas and local?
Yeah. When we went for listing in 2015, they like to have this kind of statistic. So we did up a statistic for them for the past 10 years. We have an average about 15 to 20% hit rate. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Maybe we can take questions from the floor now.
I saw that there were some questions asking us about the impact on solar prices, on our renewable energy. So maybe Elaine, you want to take that? It's right up your alley.
So for our renewable energy, actually, we mentioned earlier that we supported 4 bids in the LSS4, and eventually 2 of them managed to sign the PPA agreement with TNB. So definitely these projects, it will be awarded to us in a way or another in terms of the construction project. But these projects will actually only need to be completed by 31st of December 2023. So we still have a couple of years, probably 2 years or 18 months from now, to actually lock in the prices, because we have not decided the client has not decided on the construction price. So it is still at the negotiable stage, whether it is to be taken up by the contractors ourselves or to be shared with the client. And of course, the best scenario is that the price can come down a little bit as compared to the current increase. Yeah. So that is on the solar panel prices.
Can you elaborate more on the MRT project? Wow.
Yeah, okay. Let me just elaborate on our MRT project. We have the second, right now we completed the second MRT project in November last year. That is at Persiaran Dagang, somewhere in Bandar Sri Damansara, with a stretch of about 3 kilometers. So that project is slightly under 1 billion. And we have 3 stations there. So that is completed last year. As you can hear from MMC Gamuda, they announced that this line will be open in November. So you'll be able to travel from Bandar Sri Damansara up to Jalan Ipoh in November. So that will be open up. So this is our second MRT. The first MRT, if those of you are staying in TJ, is from section 17 to the CIMB office in Bukit Damansara. Yeah. So that is our first MRT. The first MRT was indeed we had a very steep learning curve. So because of that, we benefited from the what you call that tuition. We paid the tuition fees, and then we did MRT2 very well. We are one of the first that got awarded, and we are, I think, also the first that the stretch. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let us answer Andy question on, okay, why Sunway recently bought in IJM? I think it's merged with IJM. And then is it related with the MRT3 joint venture? How likely Sankong will be awarded MRT3 project?
Okay, maybe I should take on the first part of the questions, and then the second part relating to the MRT joint ventures, then I'll pass it back to Elaine or Billian. As for the IGM shares, it is purely a strategic investment purpose. So as in, it is equities investment. It was acquired during the at a very at reasonably attractive price last year during the exclusion of IJM from the MSCI index. So it was invested during that time.
Yeah. The second part of the question was whether the MRT3, whether there's going to be a joint venture, because I think the Age in the last week's edition, they mentioned that some giants are probably going to have a joint venture to tender for this project. Actually, the Age asked us, but I didn't want to confirm, because firstly, why I didn't want to confirm anything is that the MRT tender is not even out yet. Yeah, and joining venture with some of our competitors is not out of the norm. Yeah, and there's nothing concrete right now for us to announce, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's answer Chinwei question on when do you expect the timeline for MR3 project to be awarded? Like when is the tender date and so on?
Yeah. So based on today's Invest Malaysia, the question was actually answered by Topa already. So it will not be this year definitely lah, because they are still trying to fine tune the financing means of MRT3. Yeah, but if you talk about the design stage and everything, that has already been done by Gabuda lah, and the pre-qualification we have already submitted in May this year. Yeah, so if once the financing has been finalized, I think it'll be quite fast to turn around to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any problem with shortage of worker?
We are managing the workers right now. So interestingly, our workers we had a high of 800 workers and foreign workers, and we are only left with 300 directly under our company, because a lot of these workers opted to go back to Indonesia. Yeah, and there were no new workers. As rightly pointed out, there were no new workers being brought in. But we are managing it because we've got a lot of subcontractors that has been with us for a very long time. So we have got a steady flow of workers through them. So it is an issue, but we are mitigating it through our subcontractors. Yeah.
Okay, let us answer Wei Kiat question on. Okay, so Sunway Berhad is aiming to construct 6 new hospitals for the next 4 years. So will Sankong be handling the whole projects alone, or will this project be also inviting other contractors to participate?
Krista, you want to take that?
Yeah, Krista, you take that.
Krista, unmute.
Okay, I think it is pretty natural that Sunway construction will be part of the bidding process. It is correct that Sunway Berhad plans to construct this 6, at least actually 4 to 6 hospitals in the next 6 years. But definitely Sunway Group will be part of the bidding process and part of the bidding tenders in that. But being two separate listed entities, I think we have to say that it will be done at arm's length and competitively. Lah.
Okay. Okay. Let us answer NE question. Okay, is Sankong facing foreign worker shortage problem? Since pandemic might cause foreign worker difficult to come into Malaysia.
We have answered this question before, right, Queenie? Just I think a while ago on foreign workers.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I was disconnected just now.
I think it is still manageable. Just to repeat, right? Although, like William said, although some of the foreign workers have decided to go back to their hometown, if I may call it, right, Indonesia, or yeah, mostly Indonesian. So, but it is still within manageable levels for us.
Okay. Okay. So, what is your company future prospect in terms of growth?
When it comes to growth, I know a lot of investors like to see exponential growth, but they have to bear in mind actually Suncon has been around. This is our 40th year. So if you look at our banner, we have this 40th anniversary. So you cannot be expecting exponential. Our capacity right now based on the assets, our manpower, we are able to do 3B comfortably because our aim is not just to do a lot of projects. We want quality projects from quality client, meaning that there's no risk in payment, and we want to make sure we deliver quality product as well. So that has always been our modus, not to say that we take in any orders and grow exponentially, but we do not care about quality and things like that. So we are all our philosophy is sustainable construction. Yeah. And of course our margins also, if you compare to some of the our competitors, is also on the mid tier side because we have a lot of what you call that like quality standards that we put in. Yeah. Yeah, and also like even for the COVID, we did spend a lot to make sure the well-being of our workers and things like that. So things like this we do manage properly, quite properly at our end.
Yes, other than India, right, what are the other countries that you specifically prefer or you have good contact that you think there's a chances lah going there?
Yeah, we still have very good contact in Middle East at that point in time when the oil price was very high, and Middle East has plenty of budget for infrastructure. We were there in Abu Dhabi, so we still have contact there, and I know that the oil prices are going up, so there's nothing stopping us from going back there if there is development and things like that. Previously, we have done two projects in Abu Dhabi. We even went to like Trinidad, like Elaine said. That was where once the World Cup was being held. Yeah, and of course we are quite big in Singapore in precast, so we definitely have a lot of opportunities there. And before the COVID, we actually were trying to break through Myanmar, but Myanmar is right now on hold because of military coup. It's basically our plan to penetrate globally was put on hold because of COVID. We also traveled to Philippines to have a look. There's opportunity there as well. Yeah. So we will continue to pursue this once the travel restriction has been lifted. India was our first choice because even right now when we go to India, there is no quarantine period or whatsoever. So it's easier to enter in. And during even COVID, we actually even tried to get certain licenses for Philippines, but unfortunately, they say that our people have to travel there to get their visa and be quarantined there. So things like these are quite restrictive compared to India, whereby we can still go in and out. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. So Wei Jie actually asked, what are the projects that Sankong is most excited for in the upcoming budget 2022?
We are excited for everything actually. In particular, it will be the MRT lah. MRT, because we have done both MRT and we feel that we are one of the preferred contractors. Yeah, but if you say anything that is high with high engineering capacity, we are interested. Like hotels, hospitals, yeah, those kind of projects. Like Elaine has pointed out in Johor, we did this Time Studio, which is a movie studio. So things like this, we are very interested because it's not just a conventional building, it's something whereby we can add in value to it. Yeah. And obviously, when we add in value means that we earn better margin.
Okay. Okay, so Jessie actually asked, generally, foreign projects usually enjoy better margins. Is this still true amid the price volatilities?
Yes, so when we consider overseas project, let's say for the India project that we obtained in 2020, when we do a markup, we make sure it is double digit because we want to have sufficient buffer and tolerance to negate any possible negative effects. So to answer you, yes, that is one of the criteria for overseas project that it has to be double digit compared to Malaysia. Malaysia, we are happy with 5 to 8% because we are familiar with the supply chain here. We are familiar with the rules there. But when you go overseas, anything can happen. Yeah. So we need a bigger tolerance.
okay, maybe we take the last question now. What will be the dividend policy going forward? Yeah, as you mentioned just now that you pay about 40 to 70%. I think in the near future will be more than half.
Crystal, you want to have the honor to take the last question?
Okay. Pak Ling, as Elaine mentioned just now, right? We have an official dividend policy of at least 35% of PATMI, and in fact, we have been distributing more than that over the years. Even in last year during the COVID year in 2020, Sunway Construction has distributed dividend of 70% of PATMI in 2020, and in first half this year we have also distributed an interim dividend of 1.25 cents, which translates into around 56% of PATMI. So we hope to continue to deliver at least our based on our the dividend policy, and if we are in better capacity, definitely we hope to maintain our good track record of the dividend.
Okay.
So
Okay,
the
okay.
last, I mean, the selling point for us is that, like just now, what Billion mentioned, right? In terms of growth aside, or what investors would like to see us, I think dividend is something that we have been honoring and consistently delivering over the years. So that would be, one of the points to consider, and I think it's very commendable track record for construction-based companies to be able to deliver that kind of dividend policy consistently.
Okay. Okay, now last two questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have intention to take part in East Malaysia's infrastructure development?
This is a very tricky question. Actually, East Malaysia is like going to a separate country, actually, partly. And to tender for East Malaysia project, unfortunately, there are some written rules that you need to partner with East Malaysian contractors, and they need to be majority stake. So, and the supply chain there is monopolized by a few players. So it has proven to be quite difficult. We actually did try for Pan Borneo. We tried our best to put in a price, but unfortunately, we were not competitive because it's like a different country altogether with restrictions there. Yeah.
Okay, what do you think of Indonesian market, as the local central government seems to be very excited in spending big in infra project?
Yeah. In Indonesia is also like China. In Indonesia, they call the construction companies state-owned enterprise SOEs. So a lot of these infrastructure projects are actually circulating around a few SOEs. So it is a bit difficult, to get this unless you partner with the SOEs, and there's no reason why they would want to partner with you as well. We have been trying, so maybe we are hoping to have some breakthrough before the COVID when they decided to set up their government center in Kalimantan. Yeah, so we were hoping to get something there. Let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Indonesia is very similar like us in form of language, culture, and everything. So uh, it should be a country where we should focus. Like actually, we have been in Indonesia doing paling. When I first joined, I also visited Jakarta as well. But each country has its challenges, lah. Yeah, there are a few challenges in Indonesia, but we are quite keen to go back there actually. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think that's about it. Thank you very much, Elaine, and Crystal, for tonight's webinar. I hope
Yeah.
we will do another round of webinar very soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
And
Thank you very much.
Queenie. Thank you for having us. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe.
yeah,
Stay safe.
and ladies and gentlemen, see you again. Have a pleasant week ahead, and goodbye and good night, and stay safe. Bye.
Okay, bye.